Look around you. Everything you see, everything you remember feels undeniably real. You trust your senses. But the human mind is not a recording device. It is an architect that constantly redesigns reality. And it is easily hacked. Hidden within this architecture are glitches, psychological tricks that operate beneath conscious awareness, pulling strings you never knew existed. Tonight, we expose the mind's illusions. Prepare to discover that the driver's seat of your reality might be empty.
Our journey begins with how easily our judgment is hijacked by the irrelevant. A trap known as the anchoring effect. The mechanism is simple. We latch on to the first piece of information we hear, the anchor.
That number then becomes the gravitational center for all subsequent decisions, whether it's relevant or not.
Retailers weaponize this. That exorbitant original price slashed on the tag, it exists purely to make the sale price seem rational. We believe we are making calculated choices, but we are merely tethered to the first number we encountered. We move now to a bias wired into our visual cortex. How a single positive trait can blind us to all others. This is the halo effect. We automatically assign positive qualities to attractive people, assuming they are smarter and kinder. We assume competence and honesty, all without any evidence. The bias is automatic and pervasive. The consequences are staggering. This bias influences elections, hiring, and even the course of justice. The danger is when the halo masks a darker truth. We fall for the flawless surface, ignoring the corruption beneath.
Our perception of risk is broken. We assess the probability of an event not by statistics, but by how easily we recall it.
This is the availability heuristic. If the memory is vivid or recent, our brains inflate its significance. We fear the dramatic rarity, like a shark attack, far more than the mundane danger, like heart disease. Sharks make headlines, but the silent killers are statistically far more lethal. They are just mentally unavailable. The media landscape exploits this bias. Constant repetition of rare events tricks the brain into believing they are common. Our reality is constructed from memory. But memory is a biased curator, prioritizing spectacle over substance. What happens when your deepest beliefs clash violently with your actions? The brain experiences a psychological earthquake. This is cognitive dissonance. The mind demands consistency, and this conflict creates intense mental stress. Consider the person who values health, yet continues to smoke. The belief and the behavior are at war. To quiet the alarm, either the behavior or the belief must change. And behavior is difficult to alter. So the mind bends the belief. We rationalize. We minimize the danger. We create justifications to protect our ego.
This mechanism explains how good people justify terrible actions, ignoring all contrary evidence. We are not rational creatures. We are rationalizing creatures. We invent the reasons after we have acted.
Perhaps the most tragic psychological trick is the one that paralyzes us. The bystander effect. It's a dark paradox. The more people who witness an emergency, the less likely any single person is to help. Why this paralysis? Responsibility diffuses among the crowd. Everyone assumes someone else will take the lead. We also look for social cues. If the crowd is passive, we assume the situation isn't serious. A feedback loop of inaction. The fear of embarrassment, the fear of being wrong, often outweighs the instinct to intervene. But the bystander effect can be shattered by a single act of decisive leadership.
To break the spell, assume responsibility. Be direct. You, in the blue coat, call an ambulance.
What if your memories are lying to you? Not just yours, but the collective memory of thousands of people. This phenomenon of shared false memory is known as the Mandela Effect, a glitch in our shared reality. It appears in the minutiae of culture, famous movie lines that were never spoken, logos that seem to have changed. The cause isn't a parallel universe. It's confabulation. The brain hates gaps in memory. So it fills the gaps with plausible fiction, borrowing details from similar memories until the fiction feels real. Memory is reconstructive. Every time we access a memory, we rebuild it, often introducing errors. The internet accelerates this. A false suggestion spreads instantly, implanting itself as a collective memory.
The Mandela Effect forces us to confront the fragility of consensus reality. If our shared past is unstable, what can we trust?
Why is it that those who know the least often speak the loudest, while the truly knowledgeable remain silent?
This is the Dunning-Kruger effect, a bias where people with low ability drastically overestimate their competence. The core problem, the skills needed to be competent, are the same skills needed to recognize competence. If you lack the knowledge, you don't know what you don't know. Ignorance provides the illusion of expertise. Conversely, true experts often underestimate themselves. They understand the vast complexity of their field, making them humble. In the modern world, this bias is dangerous. Complex problems are often dominated by the confident amateur, not the cautious expert.
The path to true knowledge begins with the humility to acknowledge the limits of our own understanding.
While some psychological tricks are accidental biases, others are intentional weapons of control. This is gaslighting. It is a systematic dismantling of another person's reality, a technique to make the victim doubt their own sanity.
It starts subtly, denying facts. That never happened. You're imagining things, planting seeds of doubt.
The manipulator alters the environment to deepen the confusion, creating an unstable world where nothing is reliable.
The victim loses all self-trust and becomes entirely dependent on the manipulator's version of reality.
Gaslighting isn't just personal. It occurs on a societal scale, when powerful institutions deny verifiable facts. The objective is always the same: to replace objective reality with a controlled narrative, to achieve power through confusion. We have seen the glitches in our mental software. But why are our minds so easily deceived in the first place? The brain is a supercomputer facing an impossible task, processing billions of bits of sensory information every second. To survive this flood, the brain relies on shortcuts, heuristics. They are efficient, but often sacrifice accuracy for speed. These biases are evolutionary relics. In the ancient world, assuming a rustle in the grass was a predator ensured survival. But in the modern world, these ancient instincts often misfire, leading to profound errors, prejudice, and conflict. Furthermore, our minds are designed to protect our ego. We prefer comfortable lies over uncomfortable truths.
We have journeyed through the hidden landscape of the mind, the anchors that hold us, the halos that blind us, the memories we fabricate, the crowds we follow, and the realities we deny.
These psychological tricks are not mere curiosities. They are the silent forces that shape our lives and our destiny. The uncomfortable truth is, we are far less rational than we believe. We are creatures of bias and suggestion.
If our mental software is inherently flawed, are we doomed to be manipulated by those who understand the code? Absolutely not. The power of these psychological tricks relies entirely on their invisibility.
By dragging them into the light, we begin to break the spell.
Awareness is our defense, recognizing the anchor, questioning the halo, challenging our automatic assumptions. It requires mental effort. It demands that we slow down, engage critical thinking, and cultivate intellectual humility. The human mind is a masterpiece of evolution, capable of incredible innovation. But it remains a flawed masterpiece. We cannot eliminate these biases. They are part of our operating system.
But we can learn to navigate the world with our eyes wide open.
To see the subtle ways we are influenced, both by external forces and by ourselves. Because the most dangerous psychological trick of all is the steadfast belief that you are immune.